But now we have an item of particular interest to all those people, and in my experience there are millions of you who want to get a job in the movie industry. First off, it's no good writing to me. Not that saying that ever stopped anybody, because I can't help you, but I know a man who can. He runs the National Film and Television School, which has trained or helped to train a considerable number of now established technicians and writers, as well as directors like Bill Forsyth and Michael Caton Jones, who made Memphis Belle. So if you want to be in the movies, pay attention.
You have to go back to the school's foundation. As a result of a report that was commissioned, I think, in '66 or '67, and delivered to the then Minister of the Arts, Jenny Lee. The school was there to ensure a continuity of skilled technicians for a British industry at a time when that appeared to be very significantly under threat. It's become the National Film and Television School, whereas it started absolutely as a National Film School, and that has certainly affected the nature of the syllabus, the nature of the student, and the nature of the job that the student goes on into. But its original intention, and I guess the underlying intention today, is to prepare top-class technicians, directors, writers for the industry.
We're looking at people who will, in fact, be employment creation people who will create employment and wealth and ideas and stimulation and excitement. I think that's leadership and that kind of initiative and guts and the courage to stand on their own feet, as well as talent, is what we're looking for.
For a start, it's a 3-year course, which I think is the most important thing about it. It gives you time to actually acclimatise to working with a team of people, and it gives you time to work out your own specialisation, whether you're a producer, director, composer, editor, or whatever.
Basically, this school's a great place. I mean, it's great for me, and it has a fairly easy attitude towards teaching. You are taught by those people whom you want to be taught by. And I think that's really very good.
Ręka wraca tutaj,
The hand comes back.
to jednocześnie z tego
Then
musi
at the same
wyjść
time,
obrót.
you have to make your body turn
Ponieważ
at the same
następne
moment.
ujęcie mamy z tej
Because the
strony,
next shot
prawda?
is from the other side.
Well, Andre, he comes from Poland, so he comes from Eastern European type of setup, in long tradition of film schools. He carries everything from Eisenstein up to present day with him, and which is unusual for a British film school. And he tends to teach by asking questions rather than anything else.
That's it, right, okay.
I think there's no other way than to work, and to get more and more experiences. It's not my scripts. I'm not a filmmaker here, I'm a teacher here. So my way of teaching and to work with them is to ask, all the time to ask, to propose, and to have them to be aware.
Working with Andre, he never ever tells people what they should do. He always makes them think about what the situation is, analyse it, and come up with their own solutions. As far as I can see, the way to teach it best is to have people do their own thing, bring out the best that they're doing, and add something to it, rather than criticise them and have them feeling as though they're a failure.
A bit more, absolutely.
Our list of awards over the years, and more importantly, a list of graduates who have gone on to really significant jobs in television and film in this country, grows every year. And so at a certain point, I think we crossed a credibility bridge, if you like. I mean, Steve Morrison, who was graduated as the first batch of NFTS students, is running programming at Granada. Bill Forsyth, Mike Radford, Terence Davis. We now have a raft of directors and writers out there who were trained by the school and who are creating employment.
We're often asked by our government sponsors to have performance indicators and to show how we represent value for money. Very hard to do that. If we talk about the films we make, they win awards at festivals, sometimes in competition with professional things. And that brings the people who made it to the attention of an employer. But the real performance indicator is what they do a year or 2 or 3 after they've left. And so it would be the case of somebody like Michael Caton Jones, who's just finished directing Memphis Belle, and it will have been the biggest picture to be made in Britain for some years. It's his second feature. He left the school 3 or 4 years ago, and he got that job on the basis of his graduation film. Charles McDougall with Arrivederci Millwall, shown on the BBC earlier this year. There'll be no trouble for him to get other films to direct. It wasn't his script. written by another student. He's shown his ability to get performances and work in difficult situations. No problem that he will be not only employable, but will bring something to any picture he makes.
Nah, no hygiene today, goes. Here, 3 rules. Don't drink the water, don't eat the food, and do not breathe the air. Do you reckon they're expecting us? Well, of course they are. We're world famous.
Yeah, everyone's heard of England. Good man, Cass.
Jim Shields, from Glasgow, who made Alabama, very funny black comedy set in Glasgow.
Just this year I graduated from the film school with my graduation film called Alabama, which is a rib-tickling half-hour of Scottish fun and humour.
Look, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, it's Latouche! Fraser Latouche! Can't you see I'm busy?
Dr. Lettuce?
I think they've got reason to be pleased with themselves in as much as it has created an environment where young filmmakers are blossoming and people are coming out as directors, as producers, as writers, as camera people, as sound people, and right across the board in filmmaking. So I think, yes, where I think that they haven't applied enough pressure, and I do feel this really quite strongly, is in the area of script.
We certainly were slow to realise that the writing programme wasn't working. I think that probably we could have come to terms with that a year or maybe 2 years before we did, but we've done something about it. Frankly, even if we had realised it earlier, I'm not sure we knew what the answer was. It was the answer emerged from a series of conferences and, that Colin Young went to discuss the problem. So maybe we could have moved a little quicker, but we certainly weren't teaching writing in a brilliantly effective way, and hopefully we solved that.
We found that most of our graduates are employed, and within 2 or 3 years, most of them are doing what they expected to be doing and at the level they expected to be working. And that's because they've got self-confidence that they couldn't have got any other way that I know of. And nothing surprises them in the so-called real world. They've done it all, although at a lower level, lower cost level usually, maybe with a bit more time on their hands to do it than they will professionally. But nothing really takes them by surprise. So they've managed to chew gum and walk at the same time.
See, one of the great things about the film industry, you train a first-class director, and he becomes literally a walking employment bureau. Every time he goes to work, or she goes to work, they take 300-odd people with them in the feature film business and probably 120-odd in the television business. There's not many other jobs of which you can really say that. So, despite the fact that the training of a good filmmaker is very expensive, it's I think, second only to an airline pilot, the job potential and the number of jobs that they can create also are disproportionately higher, I think, than or wealth potential, as this government would say, disproportionately higher than almost any other job.
Interesting point, that. Well, one last time, please don't write to me. If you're interested, write to the National Film and TV School at Beaconsfield Studios, Station Road, Beaconsfield, Bucks, HP 9 1LG. Of course, I know what will happen now. I'll get hundreds of letters saying, sorry, what was that address again? Sometimes you just can't win.